gentlemen, we are live for day 3 of the Summer Skirmish qualifiers. The battle bus is about to take off. Tfue going for the engagement. Won't find it yet. It's Chap taking down Tfue, and you see the smile there as he looks over. And Chap's not done yet. He gets a second elim there. He's got no matches. He's got to go for this. There's one. Hello, Chap.
Are you kidding me?
Chap. Can this man be stopped? Manually to get to this point. He had it. Tempo says hello, my friend. Tempo drops the mine to just 17 HP. There's the elim, and there's the win. Tempo, congratulations.
That's exactly what he's going to do. Doesn't want to take too much fall damage. He's going to push in the zone. He's in the bottom fighting now. Tfue gets another one. That's 5 elims. Makes it to top 3. 2 left.
All the loot's falling to Tfue. He's trying to drop on down. Can he drop his opponent in time? Tfue spraying out the build. Here he comes.
Are you kidding me?
Tfue with the win and the pop-off celebration.
This is the first zone move. Tyler's actually has 7 eliminations.
Doesn't even care.
Zone. The Storm 5 left.
Oh my goodness. Is this the 10th elim? Can he match Animal? Yes, he does.
Base shoulder.
Keeps building more layers. His opponent can't catch him. I think it's time. It's time to place him down. 1, 2,
He's sitting right. There
and
you
look
go.
at this.
Good
He's going to heal on up. Tyler's, for the first time this week, the 6-point game. There it is. The layers there. Here it is from Gyre. Oh my gosh. And look, another wrist to go was just used. Babe Jesus eliminates one. He's got to watch this trap on the other side of the wall. Drops on down. The quick tag. Shotgun in the head.
Around the corner.
J-Amok with the victory.
It's been incredibly exciting. We've had some really solid shots. And we're not even done yet, Courage. We have 6 games left, and I cannot wait for tomorrow.
Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it's nice and early here in Seattle, but this crowd is already electric. The day is here. The grand finals of the Summer Skirmish. $1.5 million on the line today, and I couldn't have a better co-caster for it. Dr. Lupo joining me up here.
I'm so incredibly excited. Last night, I'm going to be honest with you, I think I woke up with night sweats. The lobby today is absolutely stacked. This might be one of the most competitive lobbies we've ever seen.
Okay.
The Summer Skirmish culminated. This is week 8. $8 million over the course of the entire event. This weekend, $1.5 million, and first place takes $225,000 home.
We've had a week of action, too. We've had a week of action up to this point. So many legendary moments. we'll have to quickly take a look back on exactly the format of how we got here to keep you all up to speed, because I know a lot of people will be tuning in today who really, Dr. Lupo, might not have ever watched competitive Fortnite before.
Now, the previous 3 days, the qualifier days, start off with 3 heats each morning, each heat being 2 matches apiece, and then in the evening, if you watch the streams, if you were here in person, the qualifiers, 4 matches, and the top 33 from each of those qualifiers made it into today, Courage, the grand finals,
yes,
which is 6 matches. Now, how are they going to win? It's based on eliminations and placement. 3 to 4 elims is 1 point, 5 to 6 elims is 2 points, and if you get 7 eliminations or more, and we've seen some players hit double digits,
oh yeah,
you get 3 points. Now, a top 10 placement is 1 point, second or third is 2 points, and 3 points for the victory royale. But there's some spice on top of that we'll get to here in a second.
There is some spice. Now, as you guys know, there's the $1.5 million. First place, $225,000 US. Everybody who's made it to this point today, everyone participating already won themselves $5 grand. But you mentioned something a little spicy. Well, I'm happy to announce each victory royale today will net the player $25,000. So those 1v1s at the end of the game, when it's down to the wire, the storm is closing, everyone's kind of just trying to get by with their HP. Those will be $25,000 1v1s, and then obviously
it could be worth
the points.
It could be worth points too. The value of a single 1v1 today. Even imagine the last match comes down to literally 2 players that have performed like crazy the prior 5 matches. That last fight could be worth literally hundreds of thousands of dollars. Courage.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy to think about how much is on the line today. And remember, this isn't just only a big day for prize money. This is arguably one of the biggest days in Fortnite competitive history, if not the biggest. This is the most stacked lobby we have ever seen. We will get into everyone that's participating, but yesterday there was a superstar, Tyler's, who had some interesting interview moments. We caught up with him once again leading into the final day.
So when I would see people, I would be very scared. I would get nervous. I wouldn't want to fight them. I would avoid it at all costs. But today I went in there. I said I'm just going to give it my best, and whatever happens is what happens. This is my first LAN tournament for any game ever. The environment is amazing. Epic Games does an amazing job with everything from the viewing area outside to down here. I never had a problem with any of my setup or anything. Like it was amazing. Like I was genuinely and happily surprised. I did not think that I would be standing here, to be honest. My expectation was to place today. I gave that my expectation was to get into the nightly qualifiers and to do my best. Whatever happens from there, I gave it my all. The weak spots that players are having right now is that they are playing much too passive. If you watch even Ghost Aiden yesterday, he was rushing everybody. He didn't care. People, when they see that you're confident, they get less confident. That's like the main thing that I exploited today, and I plan on doing tomorrow.
Confidence is key. The big takeaway there that I learned from Tyler's, he had it yesterday. It's a big reason why he finished in that top spot.
He even mentioned doing something that a lot of these competitive players have taken very much to heart, and that's analyzing the gameplay of their opponents. He mentioned that Aiden, another player that we saw go absolutely crazy a number of games, he was just playing more aggressive, and Tyler's has analyzed that. He's seen it and kind of adapted it into his own play style. You can tell just from his own gameplay, it's paid off exponentially.
Absolutely, yeah, and it shows right there. We've talked so much about how aggression pays off. He mentioned Aiden too. Different play styles because of the rule set we have this weekend. Playing passively and going for victories, victory royales could be your key to success. Playing high energy, going for those early elims could be the key to victory. But either way, we have a ridiculous day ahead. It cannot be stressed enough. Get involved in the conversation on social media. Use the hashtag #SummerSkirmish. Give us your predictions. We set it back on day 1. We're here on the final day. This is your last shot to show everybody that you called who was going to win today. And again, these events would not be possible without our incredible partners. We'd like to extend our thanks to Logitech, Astro Gaming, and Respawn Products for supplying the peripherals and gaming chairs here at PAX. Major thanks to you guys because, again, these events so incredible. If you've been here to experience in person, you just see this is unmatched in esports right now. What a blast.
It's absolutely insane. And if you're here in Seattle, if you're at PAX West, do yourself a favor.
Yes.
Come down to Lot 73. That's where everything's happening. We got 6 games today to play out. The story today is going to be incredible. And I thought, honestly, Courage, I thought after day 1, it was so exciting. I thought to myself, there's no way that can get better than this. And then day 2 happened, and we had even crazier plays. And then day 3 happened, and we saw Chap versus Tfue multiple times in a single game. We saw players come back from just barely missing out on points in a previous match to absolutely annihilating the follow-up. And people improving their gameplay even on the spot. I'd like to point out players like Tempo, Hysteria, they played in previous days, heats and qualifiers, and we've watched them kind of even evolve as players within just this weekend, realizing the mistakes that they're making. Those are signs of extremely competitive players, but it's not just the competitive side that's represented here. There are one-offs. There are people that we haven't seen on the summer skirmish side or competitive plays, scrims maybe you've watched online. There are people that are showing up out of the woodwork, and those stories are ones that are incredibly important as well. I could not be happier if someone that was not tied to any team, anything like that, no disrespect intended to anybody, but imagine one of those guys came away with $100,000+ at the end of the day.
It would be quite the life-changing experience. Either way, there's been so many announcements, so many things going on this weekend. If you've been watching, you know, each day we've been teasing a little bit of the upcoming high-stakes limited time mode, and obviously the getaway and everything coming along with that. Today we have more to show you guys as well. Again, Fortnite presents high stakes. Yesterday we took a first look at the getaway limited time mode and the new item, the grappler. Today we've got the free high stakes challenges and rewards you can unlock for completing them. High stakes launches this week in Fortnite. See you there. And again, here's a look at them. Deal 500 damage to jewel carrying opponents. Again, something completely unique. That's the spray you earn, and then pick up a jewel in 5 different matches of the getaway to earn the contrail. I'll look at it there. We saw it in the gameplay yesterday. That looked fire. You complete all the challenges. The brand new pickaxe, the crowbar right there. I'm doing that right away. When that goes live, I'm doing that right away.
So you have to don't forget to start the stream, Courage. I know you're excited. The LTM will be there. Okay, you just got to wait the 2 minutes. Get ready. You know, get it into your
do my little dance
game. Exactly.
No, we'll definitely be live for that. Don't worry, guys. Without further ado, I'd like to begin to get ready for our first game with our look at our finalists. 99 of the best Fortnite players in the world competing here today. What are some big names on this first page, Luca?
I don't even know where to begin with the list of players that are playing today. You have names like Nate Hill and the rest of FaZe Clan. In fact, 5 out of 5 players from FaZe qualified for these grand finals. 72 hours from Liquid, who we saw put on a show. You don't need materials. You don't even need HP. All you need is a drum gun and a dream, and you can push around outside and rotate on your opponent. The thought processes that go through these players' minds is incredible. You got C9, Alliance, World's Best Gaming, Trouble Boys, and teams, countless teams, Envy. It's incredible.
And then on page 2 here you see Sentinel's Animal. He was one of the 2 players who have had 10+ Elim games. Ghost Aiden was right there with him as well. Saf, who's done well in the summer skirmishes prior to this, continuing to put his name up there. Ghost Bizzle, a big name with that Ghost Gaming organization who've seen so much success this weekend. Heading out of the other side of the list, number 59 spot, Liquid Poach. Arguably a competitive fan favorite to potentially win the event this weekend. We'll see how he performs today. And then this was from last night, and I'm just going to quickly run through. FaZe Tempo, Tfue, Hysteria, Chap, J-Omok. You look, C9 Blind is on this list. Flower from Rogue. It does not. And what a stacked lineup we have heading into today, competing for the 1.5 million.
On top of that, you have players that are playing on a controller. You have players that are playing on keyboard and mouse. Nick Merckx is going to put on a show in Tilted Towers. We've seen it before. We'll see it again. And the best part is he's not alone. Aiden was consistently dropping Tilted in his games, which means these two might end up having a little face-off at the beginning of almost every single game if they both trend to where they're used to, where they're comfortable going.
And I know a lot of people were talking to Nick about Aiden, being like, hey, look, a fellow controller player showing up big time, putting up some big numbers. Nick was hearing it, and he wants to go ahead and provide his own stuff. Speaking with Nick actually last night, he mentioned we didn't kind of see the one game he had 6 limbs. He was trailing someone in the storm. Hits him 3 times to drop him to 1 HP, and the storm eliminated them for his 7th limb. So that's how he missed out on that free final 3rd point Either way, Nick did well yesterday. So much competition. Let us know who you think's going to take it home. I got to ask you, now that we know our 99 players, who's the favorite?
I mean, I'm part of Rogue. I got to pull for Double Flower, but at the same time, I mean, you have the list of players is incredible. I'd love to see a number of these guys run into each other. Chap, Tfue, 72 Hours. Imagine all of them in a ball together, stuck in the same one by one. I wouldn't even know where to begin, to be honest with you.
That's the incredible thing about this live crowd. Yesterday, when Chap and Tfue began to kind of battle it out, we would just set the tone. We would swap the perspective, and everyone would take those couple seconds to realize who's about to actually fight, and you'd hear everyone here begin to cheer like, oh my gosh, here we go. Two Titans in competitive Fortnite about to go at it. Again, if you have never watched Fortnite in this style gameplay before, it is very different from your normal, let's play some solos or duos at home. These lobbies will be stacked with players from top to bottom who are at the top 1% in skill, and it changes how it's played too. You're going to see as we get towards those later zones, instead of there being like 10, 15 players left, well, there's going to be like 40, Lupo.
Very different. And like you said, these competitive lobbies, if you're looking to improve your own gameplay, these are the kind of matches to watch. You're going to see people changing their trajectory depending on who's going to be around them. Rotations for these are incredibly important, and players know the trends, where other players tend to go, where to gather the best, the best material locations, still come away with a number of chests. Because dropping directly into POIs is not the most common way to play these. People play safe, especially because top 10 gets you a single point, and 1 and 2 eliminations, while those help with tiebreakers, which don't get me wrong, those are incredibly important, the points matter.
Oh yeah,
points matter big time.
And the crazy thing too is a lot of these guys have experience playing against each other in some of these solo scrim lobbies. They know Liquid Chap likes to land whaling. Tfue likes to land down in the desert area in kind of the outskirts of paradise. They're going to keep that in mind when they're going for their drops. You saw Tempo the whole day yesterday was going Snobby Shores. Hysteria loves to go Greasy. Nick Mertz loves to go Tilted. You can kind of see how the minds of these players are going to be running with, okay, we know, well, this guy's here, this guy's here. I've got to be a little bit careful on exactly where I drop.
As a competitive player, do you think that they're going to make choices and decide to go to those locations thinking, you know what, I think I can beat Chap or Nick Merckx or whoever trends, like you said, Hysteria goes to Greasy quite a bit. Do you think players are going to choose to go to those locations specifically to try and get an engagement against somebody that they may think they have an upper hand on?
Maybe early on. Maybe early on. We'll have to see. There's Saint, who had a pop-off celebration the other day. Everyone's in the lobby. They're getting ready. A look at the beautiful stations they have there. Folks, the battle bus is launching. It is time. In the next 6 games, we will find out, well, who is a hell of a lot richer. Let's get into it. Game number 1. Who will come out on top? Remember, Victory Royale. You win this game, you automatically win $25,000. But let's be honest, everyone here is already a winner this week.
And you see in the bottom right, we're going to rotate through a number of top performers from the previous qualifiers just to take a look at where everybody's dropping. The map already getting a pretty solid spread. You got a lot of players. I mean, this is a bus straight across the middle, basically, which means everywhere is eligible. Snobby Shores, you see players dropping outside over the coast again to try and get as low as possible.
Ooh, Tilted. Tilted's actually very light landing, only 4 players.
1 is rotating in from Shifty, actually completely unoccupied. I would almost, you see one is cutting back over the river, potentially seeing nobody else is going there, saying, okay, I'll gladly take all the loot. Let's go get as many as we can.
There's Tempo and Snobby. No surprise there. Morgoss had some crazy scenarios in his day of playing. If you remember, so low HP, was able to get some limbs when you thought it wasn't possible. 99 players in this lobby. And no surprise here, Aiden is in Tilted. The man who surprised so many people, said the other day was arguably the best day of his life. And look at Nick Merckx, already tagged up and weak and Tilted. We'll keep an eye on him later on, but this is in Viking Village. Saf going up against Cryo. Cryo, if you remember last night, won a coin flip to make it on in today.
A lot to see here up against Ghost. Saf is an excellent player, very, very good at quick reactions and quick edits, and Cryo hopefully can take advantage of his coin flip. Does not make it out the first game here. Viking Village pretty ruthless when it comes to loot at times. The building's there's a lot of tight quarters. They're playing out in the open though, and the exposure costs Cryo.
This is Jack from United going up against Bartonologist. You see using that ramp edit to get a clear view. Tries to farm some extra materials, doesn't quite get a chance yet.
See the feed Poach picking up an elimination.
On the Povsey, as Jack clears out that sight line. Still just watching his back for a second. I don't think, does he know Bartologist is
he might not
right on the other side of this wall? Yeah, Bartologist is just looking for the drop here. He's just waiting. It looks like there's an engagement about to go down. Bartologist peeking the corner. Hasn't jumped out yet.
Well, he's got it.
That blue submachine gun, though, can absolutely shred this early on. He does have a health disadvantage at the moment. Trying to break on in. Maybe get a sight line of his opponent down low. Is he hiding into the pyramid? He is. He uses that time to pop under the shield, it appears. As now you've got to think Jack has a ton of health advantage and gets the hip-fired spread. Beautifully done from him. Yeah, he popped a big shield to go to 200 HP. And that's when it's kind of out of reach for Bartologist.
It looked like it took just a couple crits there with the AR midair on his opponent, Bartologist. Now this is the fight. I saw the elimination of the feed, but here's Posey going down to Liquid Poach up here. Ooh, a quick midair burst. The only weapon Poach was sitting on, a gray burst, and that was enough.
Now just north of Flush Factory, you see Takada looking for where exactly Snood could be. Very low on materials. At least he's quite healthy at 175 HP. Snood at a major disadvantage there. Looks like he'll go ahead and just kind of leave this build for now. Maybe try to farm up some trees. Get himself some wood here, Lupo, to build.
Didn't want to get caught in a 1v1 in a tight quarter situation against Snood. Not enough materials early game to engage inside a building. Players typically use like a wall or a ramp mid-fight to stop even just a single shotgun blast if the timing is perfect. You saw there quickly the circle courage almost perfectly centered, maybe a little south side, which means pretty much everybody, unless you're maybe in Junction or the very top right, the northeast corner is going to have to, they have plenty of time to farm up materials, which means I would expect late game fights to be very competitive. Typically if the circle is shifted hard to one side or the other, you know, top, bottom, east, west, wherever and it's go. If it's very far away from players, those players are almost easy pickings just because they don't have the materials. And in competitive games, courage materials you almost choose over anything else.
Turkey Lips, who led day one with eliminations in the qualifiers, looks like he hasn't skipped a beat.
Catches trouble was X's off guard there through the doorway. Looks like J Cuddy's trying to bait with the trap here. Somebody must be in the area. World's Best Gaming's Unicorn rotating around the outside. I think I saw him yesterday wearing actually like a rainbow sweatshirt. It's pretty cool.
Nobody with 2 elims yet. And again, to set the tone for just how crazy these games are, how different they are from what you're used to playing at home. There is still 78 players left in the lobby, and the first zone is about to begin to push. That was Punisher cutting down his opponent there. But yeah, look at that, Lupo. I mean, at home, right? You probably have, what, 35 players left at this point? Maybe 30? 78. I think players are taking the passive route for this start to today.
Now, there's a high number of players that have 1 elimination. Nobody right now has 2 currently. Horrify goes down to Mac from Soar. The accuracy on the shotgun shots from a lot of these players today looks fantastic, which means it's gonna come down to who makes a mistake first.
Goodness. Look at the ramp block from Aiden onto Crunch. He blocks the rocket, it damages Crunch, and then he follows up with the elim there. Aiden still in a good spot. Nick Merck still alive. These two, the 2 kings of Tilted that we've seen so far this week.
It does make me wonder. We've seen players analyze each other's gameplay. Aiden most likely very aware that Nick Merckx goes to, I'm going to be honest, the same building almost every single time. Do you think he's purposely avoiding an engagement if possible?
Listen, Aiden's gone basically everywhere around there, but in the engagement feed, Emad just took down tempo from last night phase of the 4 games. Phase 1, 3 of them. This was actually Tyler's in an engagement with Painful PvP, and right now Painful looks like he had all the advantage, and yeah, he did. Tyler's down early. Our kind of outspoken player from yesterday, unfortunately drops here early in game 1.
Now there's still 5 games left for these players, even after this one has been completed. So a bad game or 2, it doesn't spell the end.
Is this Nick versus Aiden? Is this Nick versus Aiden?
Shot to Nick Merckx goes down. Aiden says, "Welcome to Tilted."
And there, oh! Aiden letting him know.
I gotta say it, hi Twitter.
That honestly. Right there, folks, is what it's all about. Aiden knowing the reputation of Nick Merckx. Nick now seeing a new controller player trying to claim his Tilted area. And well, I feel like that's a battle we're gonna see a lot today, Lupo.
Psalm building up against, I believe it is it Levake here up in the sky. A lot of layers here, and there's a kind of a third player potentially entering, maybe 3 or 4. They're very exposed right here. I'm surprised. I was going to say, I'm surprised no one has begun shooting down the structure here. It looked like it was built extremely vertically. They're kind of exposed.
Yep.
Psalm's got to be very careful that it doesn't look like he has a bounce pad. I would expect him to kind of have it out. Aiden has just claimed Tilted Towers as his own. Takes out.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are about 15 players at least who have won a limb in this game. Aiden, the only one at 3, has earned our first point today. Aiden continues his tear as he has claimed Tilted Towers. We said 4 people landed there at the start of this game. Everyone was eliminated by Aiden as he's now at 3.
The zone is starting to, it's going to have to start pushing players in. You're going to see people that are, this is kind of the beginning of the mix-up. You know, chaos typically happens. The storm closing now. We're going to see where the next circle is. It's centered over Tilted Towers, which means Aiden doesn't even have to move.
He's big chilling right now. There's a drop coming on in as well. Aiden's thought process, it looked like he basically said, you know what? I know Nick Merckx is going to go big gray. I'm going to land at double L's, loot big red, loot the new building, and then once I have everything I could ever want, then I'll challenge Nick at big gray. And it worked out perfectly for him there. He's still maxed on HP. Here's Boyer, who we just saw pop a med kit to get to full health. Over to Mercedes now on the edge of the football or soccer stadium. So he's trying to spot this player. You hear listening for those audio cues. It's actually WBG Punisher who took down Tempo earlier on.
In the feed, Tfue takes an elimination there on Powder from Alliance. That is his first elim. Poach still has one. The list of players that are sitting on 1 elimination now is monstrous. Jay Cuddy actually has 2, but still Aiden, the only one, you see the board there, only one with 3. The only player with a single, Aiden actually just picked up his 4th elimination, which puts him 1 away from a 2nd point.
I mean, can this man be stopped?
Engagement down here, though. He's trying to drop the structure down. Looking, you see that you can even hear the fall damage right there. That should be a cue.
He caught on the 1 layer of a ramp, though, which kept the high ground for his opponent. And now Mercedes knows just how tough of a situation he's in. Trying to get the quick edit to peek on out. Oh, can't get the structure shut down in time. He's wearing a great shirt, though, so I'll give him that either way. Punisher with the elim.
Style matters, but the points are everything, Courage. Unicorn, Sakairos, very small. They're 2 floors away from each other. This is Aiden's 4th elimination earlier. A rotation in and lasers. Absolutely lasers. That gold AR is incredibly powerful. Chap building up here. It did look like Aiden picked up a Chug Jug right as he cut away, which means he's full health, full shield, ready for the next engagement. He's still safe inside the zone, but Chap here just on the west side of Dusty Divot, stuck in a 1v1, but we've seen Chap build. We've seen Chap take advantage of height and all of the structure here that he has ownership of, and we're going to watch players still continue to do that. They're going to break out anything they can, take ownership of it. He puts the pyramid up to block any push. The player underneath, just trying to keep Chap away. And I'm going to be honest with you, Courage. A player like Chap, I don't think that's necessarily going to work.
No.
Chap is going to look for an angle, the weak spot in his players, the way that they're developing this strategy against him. He's going to take advantage of it. I almost expect at this point maybe a drop down, a knockout, and Chap to go just for a shotty shot on mid-air. He's got dualies as well.
Quickly to mention, E-United's Jack just knocked out Liquid Poach from this first game. So Poach eliminated with about 61 players left. This is by far the slowest game we've had to this point this week with how many people are still in play. Here goes the battle. Chap versus this enemy inside Dusty Divot. Both players getting hit heavy, and oh, Kayun. Well, Chap falls right on into the window, and well, Kayun's shotgun wins that engagement there. Both players, it looked like we're going for the floor replacement. Kayun got it and dropped Chap in. Now the rift to go, typically not necessarily taken by your opponent, but Drummond says, you can't get away from me. He's going to drop down. He also had the zone pushing.
Fly in. Yeah.
He had the zone there as well. Might as well just go ahead and skirt on out of there. Tilted Towers looks like it will soon be the only thing in play. And folks, Aiden has 10 minis and a Chug Jug. Could not ask for more shield healing. He's near maxed on each type of material. Gold heavy shotgun, gold legendary assault rifle, sorry. I mean, this man is set up for success here.
Lavic rotating around the outside, drops on the outside. Looks like Sakairos didn't see him drop on the outside, place the platform, and the shotgun shot there secures an elimination just outside the zone, too. ilchase taking shots, trying to drop the structure of his opponent before they rotate in. He's just hanging out outside the storm, but it's only ticking for one, so it's not enough damage to worry about, but he has to build himself in. His opponent got a top down on him, got the height advantage, but he has an ability to edit out. Going to take ownership of that ramp in the middle, or at least just get it out of the way so his opponent doesn't have it. Building these little catacombs, trying to, it's a way to have your opponent lose track of your location. The replays from FaZe, he's still on top of him. Still watching, trying to grab. These players are fighting back and forth constantly for who owns what surface. The shots coming in through the angle to edit there, and replays gets quite a bit of damage, maybe enough to push in, and he does. The shotgun and a fight inside the box and takes ilchase out. 2 eliminations for replays now.
Beautifully done by replays. He'll be rewarded with a med kit to get the full HP. While this was going on, 0 players have yet to hit 3 elims outside of Aiden. And while that fight was going on, Aiden actually moved up to 5 eliminations now at 2 points earned this game. Jay Cuddy just earned his 3rd elim to put him at 1 point as well. Apparently Aiden's 5th elim was actually a trap that he left behind in a building in Tilted, and someone ran right through it.
That's not the first time he's done that either. During his qualifiers, that his 8th elimination in the 2nd game came from a trap as he was rotating to the west.
Remember, that is incredible.
I love those.
8 elimination 2nd game heading west.
I specifically remember where it happened too.
Okay, Looper, jeez. It's that dad brain right there. You're showing it off. I love it. As Aiden, he's got another player close. He's got a launch pad in his inventory as well. Tilted will be out of play soon. You see, as he enters each room, he checks the roof for any traps. Make sure he can't sprint on in.
In the feed down there, replays from FaZe going down to Kayun, who just took out, I believe, Liquid Chat before that. That is a stack of eliminations to be proud of right there. Jack from EU with 3 elims, Jay Cuddy still 3 elims, and Aiden with 5. That's 3 players currently with points. Aiden having 2, the others 1 apiece. Looks like Aiden has a player on the inside in here trying to take ownership of the wall so he can get the edit off. They're just holding on tight. He's going to have to rotate around, potentially on top, or push up the stairs, change the angle of engagement. Pro players are typically very aware of these highly competitive players, very aware of appropriate times to disengage and get it up another angle, but Aiden gets dropped out from underneath. His opponent just lasering down any structure he's got. The AR shots, it's not as fast as an SMG, but it's enough to take structure out. Aiden's only building 1 layer at a time. The third party from behind, maybe tunnel visioning on the opponent that was in front of him, just pushing, losing track of the fact that somebody else was watching. There are other players there. You got to start looking for those little towers.
He's playing for having as much health as possible for the next fight. Gonna chug here for the extra 50 shield, as there's a ton of fights going on around him. That was Boyer who just cut down Cease. You got Lanane from Envy down there in the river. Does Aiden continue this aggressive play? Looks like he will. He wants this right away, Lupo.
Tyler's even analyzed it earlier in the interview. This we mentioned it earlier in the feed, eliminating replays, and here's the actual engagement. Taking a top down here, he's going for ownership of these structures so he can get the edit. These are my walls, and he wants the shot whenever he wants the shot. Here it is, 153.
Can't ask for much more from your shotgun. Right there, as we head back to the action, you're Tilted. Looks like Aiden's trying to build on up and match his opponent. Boyer, I think, has slipped on out of that lower box. He will have to move quite far for this next zone. This end game really near 0 areas of interest. You see kind of in the river, and how awkward is this? It's 2 cliffs and a low valley.
Look at how dense this circle is. This rotation is going to cut a lot of players out.
There's 49 players left. 49.
This is the most we've seen, I guarantee you, at this circle. 53 seconds and people have to move it. This is potentially a time for Aiden to shine. He might be on the outside of the circle, Jack, but you have an option here to not worry about placement, go for 2 more eliminations and secure 3 points very early in this event. It could be big.
Here's Vape Jesus, one of our players on the verge of earning 3 elims. All these players stacked up in these builds. It's like Saf's in a fight here, drops to just 50 HP, but he does have a slurp ticking.
Just so people are aware, I'm looking at the map right now. Oh, the rocket from Saf down to the edited hole gets Vape Jesus underneath him. That's 2 eliminations. But on the map right now, there's 1 player on the far west side that is not moving. I would almost anticipate it's somebody that has a rift to go. Brandon from GS, who came in second in an engagement against 72 Hours. We saw that outside of the zone rotation on Brandon, but he's saying this is my time to shine. He's trying to track Bizzle down and Fuzzy simultaneously. 3 players stuck in the structure, and he's going to tunnel his way out. That the layers over the top to protect from any above shot. Waiting. The jump shot on Fuzzy gets his first to the limit. Brandon's going to maybe look for a second. His shots come in. He's rotating inside the storm. It's such an important piece of this is to maintain forward movement. You don't want to get caught outside. Players will take advantage of that.
Remember that opponent now hears that audible shield tag, knowing his shields are gone. I'm down to just normal HP now. Going to go ahead and wait on out as he'll have to back up. I think the tree kind of blocked him on his rush on up there. Down to 42 players left in the lobby. This game is going to escalate very, very quickly. I can promise you that. Brandon just sitting inside this box. Used all those materials though, Lupo. Down to just 32. He's got no shields left. This is one of those awkward scenarios where he's just hoping people forget about him.
Jack, there's 42 players left in the circle, and it's time to move. North side is where everybody's got to go, which means if you're in the south, like Sinfully here, you're going to have to fight your way out and see what you can do. Rockets coming in. There's going to be a lot of this happening. People going for splash damage eliminations. Take out any structure they can, and Hysteria trying to get an elimination at the zone there, but Saf secures it on Sinful. 0 Elans thus far for Hysteria. Look at these players. They're all poised to strike on each other, waiting for literally anybody to move, anybody to make a mistake. We've got 60 seconds left and 40 players still alive.
Hysteria played in each day of the qualifiers to get to this point. Wind up getting in late last night and basically the final game. Here with a ton of materials left, he's just trying to peek on out and find this basically free elim as he's looking to maybe third party a fight. Does get heavily tagged twice. Not happy to be in this scenario now, I can promise you that.
He's got enough materials maybe to push against this here for a little while. 38 remaining, 30 seconds left until the zone moves, and then I'm telling you, when this thing starts, this is when chaos ensues. The zone move is one of the deadliest moments in games like this.
And it's down this mountain too for all these players up top.
Everybody's got to slide.
Yeah. Jumpman does have 2 launch pads, which I'm expecting him to use here. He's going to fly right on into the next zone. He's already got the natural height over it. You hear continuous tags. I think that is Hysteria being sprayed by like 3 or 4 people right now. United's Jack just got his 4th elim of the game as he's looking to catch up to Aiden. Aiden was eliminated earlier on. We've now got 5 players with a point on the board. Looks like these were 2 players fighting earlier on, Lupo and Shifty.
This kind of shows just how
they both fell.
Don't stick the landing on the way in. This kind of shows how players are.
Oh no! Oh no!
You see in the feed, Jumpman eliminating Aiden. We at least know
he hit his head
went down to
on a tree and was knocked down. Here's that move we mentioned, down into the river. What an ending to this first zone. Hysteria there. You see the shotgun elimination on the knees. 32 players still remaining. Typically at this point we're at like 13, 14 players, and we're at 31.
This is a good example of how high the nerves are here.
He just got a drop.
We have cheers from the crowd here for that one.
He's got remote explosives and a rocket.
That's huge. Against all the players that are playing incredibly slow, they're all built up in structures. Explosives are going to be, I mean, that could be game-changing. He could come away with a bunch of eliminations, even just to knocking structures down with that. And he's going to start pushing up. He's going to get up top of the zone. He owns all of this, too. You see he's making quick edits on pretty much every piece he's moving through. And this is Hysteria's first elimination thus far today in game 1. An opponent, surprise, falls inside and catches Nice off guard.
You know, that's when the double barrel is quite good, just as a pro tip, when they're inches in front of your face.
Literally right there.
Yes. Here we go, folks. Our move to our next zone about to begin.
27
Tifu
players.
has been inching across all of this build. I was wondering how he was going to do this with little materials. Somehow he's claimed this entire top area, it seems. Nate Hill still in it. J-O-Mock still in it. Here we go. This game is about to escalate very quickly. The moves coming from everybody now. Chris 2 elims. Can he earn his 3rd to put a point on the board? Gorilla just cut down J-O-Mock. You see Nate Hill using the bounce pad. Everyone surging forward. The common enemy of everyone is this storm. And you can see they're all afraid with how much damage it does. Somehow Tfue not being shot. He's made it on in and secured a nice little structure to heal on up.
Literally no one wants to engage anybody else right there. You saw Tfue drop the C4. I think the idea is if somebody's pushing up underneath him, he can edit it out and drop the C4 down. Brandon gets caught off guard. And Jack secures his 6th elimination and
He's got a med kit now. He's got to use this right away. The zone is 25 seconds. Pop that med kit. Get above 6 HP. Tfue one a limb away from earning himself a point. Remember, top 10 in the game earn themselves a point as well.
No fall damage. Honestly, kind of surprisingly, so many explosives.
He's out of materials. I think he's just got to kind of go for this. That's all of his mats left.
One more elim is a point for Tfue, and he's going to look for one. There's still 10 players that are that have to go down before rank matters for points, which means now's the time, and he gets it, catches, shrugs off guard through a little tiny window. That green drum gun coming in big, and another one. Tfue going for his 4th elimination.
He's got to move. The zone is there. He's got to move. He's trapped on in. Tfue choking on out. The storm ticking for so much, and there he goes. Tfue out from game 1 as the storm claims another victim.
You got Nate Hill basically sitting on nothing, no HP, no shield in the bottom, and he had some minis. He's going to patch himself up when Nane's stuck inside, basically in the middle of the, there's a player sandwich here. 11 left, one more goes down. Everybody that's left alive gets 1 point minimum.
Whoever is a limb next, heartbreaking stuff, as they will be just on the verge of a free point. I know one thing, Nate Hill has no plans of peeking on out with that little HP left. 3 medkits for Morgoth. You've got to think he's in a good spot if this goes to a heal-off. Uh-oh. Fight about to go down. Morgoth with a shot. There it is. We're now into our top 10. A quick trade.
Trades happening back and forth.
The hype there, that was 3 limbs, and he made it to the top 10. That's 2 points there. Landjock, we mentioned, you can have all sorts of play styles. This one, not go for any fights. He's in 6th place with 0 limbs, but he's out of mats. He's full of the bottom. It's time to rip back up.
He pulled 2 other players with him. 3 are on their way down from the top.
Pulling right away.
He's gonna. I think the goal is to try and land as fast as possible.
No, he's gonna rip again. Oh my God! No! That was almost 200 IQ. It could come back to bite him.
Gets the shot on Gorilla.
Top 5.
Top 5.
Trades going down. Nate Hill within a limb. Prodigy Aces. Looks like he's got the high ground right now. Only 1 limb to his name. And remember, top 3 earned 2 points. He's made it. 2 points now earned. So many medkits. The storm is pushing on in. This is it. I believe it's going to come down to a heal off right now. Player shooting from above. He doesn't have time to heal. It's Nate Hill, and I don't think Nate has any health left. He's got 1 HP. He's trying to break down. He doesn't have the time. This should be it. He's got 1 extra tick of HP, and there's the victory for Landjock. As he can't believe it, it was 18 health to 1 health. Literally 1 tick of the zone made the difference, and the sigh of relief there. Congratulations. That's a 3-point game.
Absolutely ridiculous. Nate, at this point, his only option was to try and shoot or pickaxe his way down, get a shot in the fall, and it didn't matter. Landjock had a layer ahead above him. There was no option there.
He was done for anyway. You saw trying to pickaxe down. He was getting that thing where it just wasn't letting him actually hit the structure, which made him have to panic shoot. He didn't have a shot there anyway. 1 HP. Didn't. If he gets that a limb and drops those medkits down a little bit earlier on, as the zone's closing, he might have time to pop the full 10-second medkit, but there was only like 9 seconds left on the clock. So 1 tick would have dropped him, and he knew that. He had to go for it. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out for him there.
Jack, if the rest of the games today go like this, I don't know if I can handle it. This has been, we saw more players alive per circle than we've ever seen in any of the previous games, and players are trying to play so securely. They're holding hands during rotations. You saw Tfue got walled out from an opponent that he was chasing up because they were putting layers and layers down behind them just as an effort to stop anybody from getting in. It wasn't an aggressive engagement. It was defensive play to see if the Storm could take any more eliminations with them closer to a top 10, even for just 1 point.
Well, back in game 1, it all began with Aiden raining terror on the tilted towers. We've got to look back at that to begin. Look at this ramp to block the rocket, the quick follow-up, and there it is. The player, I think, tried to port-a-fort, but unfortunately landed above him. And then Aiden, once he got to full HP, said, you know what? I know exactly where Nick Merckx will be, and I'm going to go for it right off the bat. Nick only able to tag him for 7. The crowd definitely made some noise there, as he didn't stop at all. He continues to hold forward. He wants to bring the fights to his opponents and get right in their face.
That's multiple window peak engagements from Aiden, taking advantage of every little bit of cover he could. Catches another player off guard as they rotate in through a building. You saw they went for the defensive build too to block him out, but it wasn't enough. The 72 damage crit, it'll almost jar players. That amount of damage that fast, it's the same effect as maybe getting hit by a hunting rifle shot or a sniper during a rotation. You get frazzled very quickly, and you'll see players build defensively, and sometimes it's not enough, especially when you have accuracy like that.
Oh, for sure. And that's just the look at some of Aiden's plays. There's obviously so many other players out there. Coyote had, I believe, eliminated Chap, then went on to take down Replays as well. So 2 bigger names. This was the battle versus Chap that we followed for quite a little bit. It was the one window edit that drops Chap on in. Come on, my friend, and Chap was not ready for it at all.
Receive versus Replays, the box inside, and Kane's trying to take advantage. He'd take ownership of the structures above. He goes for it and forces kind of a rotation out. Players will see ownership change in the structures, and they'll make moves to get away, to say, okay, you think I'm inside there, and I'm not anymore. And Replays caught off guard. Almost Kane saw ahead. He predicting other players' movements is huge for these guys, and couldn't pull it off that time, but a valiant effort. He earned 3 eliminations. That's a single point, and he should feel fantastic about that. That's more than we've seen in the previous qualifiers, people that have advanced to today. So every point counts. Every point counts.
Yeah, well, we actually, at the end of the game, had a crazy, crazy little rift to go play. And remember, when you pop that rift, it's like a little verticality element to it. Well, pull people in with you. So he drops on down. Landjock uses it, sucks 2 people up with him. Then you see here, it was Nate, Landjock, and Prodigy Aces. Landjock decides, I'm going to drop on down to try to take the rift again to resecure the high ground. And literally the second he goes to sprint into it, it goes away. Shortly after, he does get that elim, but then his traded fight, or sorry, it's what keeps him alive then to stay alive and then go on to win that game. That was the one elim he needed.
The awareness from Gorilla right there, even though he didn't get the elimination, just the second he heard the mini get popped, the sound of the shield, he opted to edit the stairs, push in through, and try and go for the elimination, and Landjock, the accuracy in that double barrel, it just hits like a bus.
It most certainly does. I actually do believe we have Landjock, our victory royale winner from game 1. We forgot to mention, he just won $25,000. I don't even know if he knows. We'll go ahead and throw it on over to Zeke in the players area.
What's up, guys? Awesome cast. I am here with Landjock, who just, as you witnessed, he riffed on the goat 3 players, and he gets the victory out. You just won $25,000. How are you feeling, man?
Man, yeah, that was amazing. I didn't think I was going to win, but the guy ended up dying to fall damage, and I got it, so. Oh, bro. I don't know.
Are you ready? Are you ready for the next few games?
Yeah, I'm going to try my best. I'm going to try to win another one, but I'm glad with what I already did today, so.
Now, did you know that you were going to rift those 3 players? Because everyone at PAX is watching this, right? And so the moment you jump down, you activate the rift on the go, literally PAX erupts because they're like, you just pulled 2 other people, you dive down, and you take someone else out who's like, oh, there's a rift here, and then you just blast them. How did you know they were there?
No, I just knew I didn't want to die, so I did it. And I saw 2 people with me, so I'm like, well, I'm going to try to go down. And it worked, so.
That's awesome, dude. Any strategies you've got going into the next few games?
I'm just trying not to die. I'm playing for placement, so just gonna try to survive as long as I can.
Dude, best of luck. Congrats on the victory out for the first and the $25,000, dude. Good luck in the rest of the games. Courage.
Boys, brilliant, brilliant stuff. You mentioned $25,000, Richard, but Landjock's sticking to his kind of game plan. I want to survive. I'm playing my life, and it worked out perfectly there. Literally the only limb he had to get, he was forced. Like, he had no option but to fight him there.
Yeah, and it's funny, the playing to stay alive, it seems like he's not the only one. We've seen circles with 40, 50-plus players remaining, and the number of builds that happen during a storm rotation, when the circle starts to move, that's one of the deadliest moments in the game. You literally see the field get cut in half
100%.
because people are we saw multiple players eliminated by fall damage at the same time, rotating over Shifty. We saw people landing inside boxes next to each other, not realizing that there's 1, 2, 3 players above them, and they're forced into engagements. And right now, I feel like people don't want that. People are trying to avoid fights because there's a chance if they miss a shot, if they don't build at just the right time, any little mistake is gonna cost them.
So something tells me this isn't the last time we're going to see these last zones go down to the storm claiming the final limb, right? I feel like this is going to be the theme of today.
Strap in. It's going to happen more than once. And honestly, it's so exciting and so hectic. There's so much happening. The top-down angles that we're getting on these it's incredible because you can really see it's a stampede of players pushing to try and get inside the next zone. And it's not always shots that are determining who stays alive, who makes it to the top 10 and gets a point. It's appropriate builds. It's intelligent positioning. It's foresight and reading your opponents, and it's happening every single time. These players are processing information so fast.
So much stuff going on. It's crazy. As we get the next lobby ready, we will be hopping into game number 2 very, very shortly. I can see it getting updated on my screen. But there's so much stuff going on. Families here attending this event. We actually caught up with a father and son Fortnite fans. Let's hear what they had to say.
My name's Sean Shevlin, and my gamer tag is YoungPrism98912. We're from the Portland, Oregon area. And this is my son, Rylan, and he plays under the same gamer tag, but he earns all the points. So you had heard about it at school?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he kept begging me and begging me and begging me to play. So finally I told him if he did his homework for 2 weeks straight and didn't whine about it, we would download it and he could play. And so we did that, and he started playing, and now I play a pretty good amount with him. And I teach high school math also, and so I brought it into my classroom actually a lot, and the kids love it. So like this week we did a lesson on graphing, and I took the Fortnite map and we did quadrants and we graphed on there. So that was another reason I came up, was I was like, I'm going to tell all my students that I competed in summer skirmish. My go-to strategy is camping. Where do you like to land?
Tilted towers.
Oh, my favorite gun, the one-bolt action sniper, because I am a terrible shooter. So if I can't get you in one shot, I'm probably dead.
I like the clingers because you can just like throw it at someone and it just like sticks them, and then they just blow up.
Really want to win $5,000. I feel like I might have a chance of making it through some qualifiers, and maybe I can get there. So
you're gonna get wrecked.
Absolutely awesome stuff to see there. I wish I was able to use Fortnite in my high school math, but instead it didn't go well.
It's okay. It's okay.
That's why you're casting.
No shame in hiding behind the desk. That's fine.
There we go. Awesome father-son duo there. Hope to be able to meet him here as PAX West continues. As we get ready for game number 2, I see everyone in the lobby. We have to update you guys on the standings. Remember, $1.5 million on the line today. And here's where we stack up after game 1. Landjock won a limb, but the victory royale gives him the advantage over Nate Hill. United's Jack, 6 limbs that first game, leading the lobby just above Aiden. 2 members from Envy in the top 8 as well, and Tifu in that 10th spot.
Already a plethora of players with even just 1 point, all the way up to 17th place. And then after that, eliminations decide, as well as their placement. The tiebreakers came in pretty big previously. It was running around in the player area. You have to remember too, if you're watching, the player area is completely separate from where we are, so they can't hear us at all. But what they do know is shortly the bus is launching, game 2 beginning. Courage.
This is absolutely crazy here. I'm looking around. People are enjoying the Der Burger free food. There is a line down the block in hopes to get in here. It's gone from standing room only. I'm pretty sure people are just laying on top of each other at this point in hopes of being able to watch. It is a blast here right now. The energy in this crowd is insane. And ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Game 2 starts right now.
east to southwest trajectory. Wailing Woods pretty close to the beginning of the bus, which means a handful of those liquid players, they do tend to the northeast corner of the map. They're going to get down pretty quick, which means I expect to see them in the feed earlier than other players if they do land in kind of a hotter drop. Retail, and you have people floating down to Paradise already. Fatal is going to get occupied. I'm curious if the Cube is going to come into play again at some point over the course of the day. We're just getting started.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. So you see a beautiful look at that free camera, just watching around where people are going. Landjock says, I just want to stay alive. And apparently staying alive means landing near Tomato Temple.
Flower, I think, picking up potentially the first elimination of the game gets Prodigy Aces. Topway and Fade both picking up an early elim as well. In landing zones.
And right there, instantly picking up the ammo box. That's something that's actually so key in these games because we reference ammo so often. And what, already a 3-person rift use? In a panic situation, it looks like, if I had to guess, Cryo started engaging people with this tac shotgun. And then they popped a rift to try to get out. One of the enemies popped a rift to get out, and it looks like it was a good way to disengage the fight. They'll live to see another day.
Cryo, you have to remember, was the player that won the coin toss from day 3 qualifiers. Hoping to put on a good show. That coin flip determined whether or not he was making it here. Gave a coin flip for $5,000 as well, no matter what place he lands. GS Brandon here, a number of players landing here at retail, and they kind of all chose their own home and said, okay, I'm going to loot everything here before I push out. Everybody else, please stay inside your homes as well. It's like a gentleman's agreement almost sometimes. You very rarely see someone drop in at a house in retail and competitive games, get even just a single chest, and then immediately push to engage, because you might be missing out on other loot in the house. They're going to take their time. You know, smack all the furniture inside the house. Hysteria here. We talked about Hysteria lanes greasy very consistently.
It's our spot. We're the greasy boys.
Northwest corner, and actually the first circle, kind of a northwest focus.
That'd probably fire. But no, either way, over towards the racetrack. Multiple clingers coming on out. Remember, clingers recently updated. Now act a little bit differently when you stick 2 on a wall, as instead of them both instantly exploding, once the first explodes and destroys the structure, the second will fall down from there and then cling on to the next thing that's there. So instant explodes are a little bit tougher to have happen now. That's Tyler's from yesterday, just backing on up. Didn't have the best game 1, looking to rebound here.
Punisher in Pleasant Park. We had a look earlier. It looked like roughly 4 players were out here. You see there, wow, what a quick swap from the player inside the box. Punisher takes control of the wall, but his opponent re-angles the ramp inside to act as like a second layer to protect him just from that window peek that Punisher was going for. An excellent play there from Rio, but he's going to rotate around underneath, and Punisher is tracking him, following, trying to get another wall replacement. Rio's staying on top of ownership of those surfaces, and Punisher's going to have to find a second angle, and he almost does the window there, but Rio's edit there. He swaps and changes the angle of the ramp to act as protection from Punisher's push.
Yep.
Punisher's going to have to find a good angle here. Rio's clearly on top
right here.
of his edits. The top down.
They actually bounce off each other. Punisher swapping back to the shotgun. Another tag. They're both so low.
How many HP?
38. Rio with the limb. He'll go ahead and bandage on up. This is Wheats. Wait, what?
The Kobe nade
no
kill
way.
shuts it down. A single one gets
the
Chris.
Grenade kill from 81 meters.
Goes for a second. If he gets this, are you kidding me?
No, there's no way.
Close,
Okay,
close. Aiden, tilted towers. Not surprising, which means Nick Merckx.
Oh my goodness.
1v1 round
again.
2.
This is going to happen all day. Aiden, each time he's fought Nick so far, has been at max HP. He continues to put himself in great positions to have the advantage. Nick now waiting, listening, knowing it's got to be Aiden nearby. These guys know what skins they wear. They know the routes they like to take. You think whoever wins this fight will claim Tilted Towers for this game. When Nick hears that chest open, he knows exactly where Aiden is. Here comes the engagement again. So far, Aiden eliminated Nick back in game 1, and Nick looking for vengeance right now. Trying to spray on down with the LMG. Aiden building walls. Nick in the engagement. The tag. The shield's now gone for Aiden. Nick with the advantage up to this point. He's got to push the agenda here. The crowd getting behind Nick Merckx. You hear the chant going out of the background. Nick has matched the build. Aiden with the high ground. Nick 132 HP. I believe Aiden has just a little bit less. But as I say that, you see Nick with a little bit of a grimace there as he gets tagged for 60. The 1v1, the quick block there. The battle of the century. Two of the best controller players in the world going at it. Aiden down to 2 health. He's going to have to big shield here. Nick wants this fight. I can tell you he wants to tie this 1v1 battle up at 1-1. Aiden now on the high ground of the building. Nick, I believe, is disengaging for the moment. I'm sure he heard that big shield, Lupo, and that might have been enough to scare him off. What comes to the chest to slurp as the crowd knows just how good that'll be. That'll put him up to 77 HP as they've just disengaged. They'll both live to see another day. Oh my goodness, Lupo.
Players of this caliber, are you kidding me? Players of this caliber trading shots like this, disengaging. We're going to see these two, I guarantee you, before this circle closes, the next time they will end up having to fight each other again. Round 3 almost, and Aiden's going to drop on the outside. These drop downs, placing the floor to stop himself from taking any fall damage. He's going to end up 176, 177 HP total here.
I feel like this crowd is fine with just a $1.5 million Nick Merckx and Aiden only in Tilted tournament.
1v1 in Tilted
I'm all for
day.
It. As they're both going to go ahead, reset. They're the only two here, I think.
You have a couple
There's
players
a couple people now
on the outside.
But that's why they're just like, there's so much loot still on the map that they know, oh, this hasn't been touched, this hasn't been touched. Will they come across each other again soon? Last we saw, Nick still didn't have shields. Here's 72 hours. Let's see how this went for him. He's got the chug jug ready to go. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, that is... just a heads up, that's not good, actually. Blowing yourself up with a glimmer. Oh, replays with a quick scope the other day. Feels some of the counter shot there from Painful PvP.
We've got Flower from Rogue. 2 eliminations already, which means the third one will pick him up a single point. Aiden still back here.
Oh my goodness.
But round 3.
Round 3.
Nick Merckx versus Aiden, 2 controller titans hanging out in Tilted Towers.
Here's the thing though, Nick has no shields. He basically needs Aiden to walk on into the double barrel and say hello. He's waiting. They are 1 pixel away. Aiden charges in. The spray! Aiden again at 20 HP. And this crowd erupts again.
Look at the loot next to him too. He already has a rip to go, a second rip to go on the ground, and the bait to swap there.
If Nick has any shields or if Aiden doesn't have 200 health, you gotta think it's done. And look at Nick, realizes just how close he was. Aiden chant going out. There was a Nick Merckx chant. This is the battle of everything right now in these early games.
Absolutely unbelievable. The launch pad and escape against Laser. Dremen trying to make it away, but the accuracy of whoever, the multiple players down there in Salty Springs say it's not time to leave yet. You got to come back, and he's going to have to box himself in, make numerous layers so he can get a couple of these heals off. He has a slurp, multiple minis, so he can get a good buffer back up, but there are people around him. He's got Wheats underneath. Vactor's taking shots from a distance over there. He has an opportunity now. Looks like they left him alone. Now, this is Tyler's, a player we've had our eyes on after previous gameplay, but we'll see here. Jay Cuddy, accurate shots from underneath. The SMG spray just right on point, and a rocket off the wall. As Tyler tries to layer, you saw he went for the floor placement there. Wasn't enough, not fast enough. X's from Trouble Boys building up in a 1v1 against Tempo. A very, very good player here. Both of these guys,
I love
excellent builds.
Every time the crowd sees one of the names involved in the fight, they just go, oh my God, you know, like, they just know how much it means. I thought he was going to try to style with that hunting rifle for a second.
Backing out.
In the elimination feed, Wheats goes down, Sakairos goes down, and Mac also falls. The lobby down to 59 players left. The second zone about to begin to close.
At this point, 30 seconds. The choice of engagement here, if neither players have 2 eliminations, I don't think either of them want to fight each other. You're going to see an early rotation out from like your Tempo deciding now's the time to move. This isn't good for either of us. So let's move forward.
Saw that big shield. This is Takada in a fight with someone here. It's actually Nate Hill, and has the instant beam to earn the 3 elims too. Nate Hill, if you saw, was in that top 5, or I believe actually second after game 1, does fall early here. But even though he does fall early here, Lupo, he's still in a brilliant position I'm sure, in our standings after this.
1, 2, 3, even 3 bad games, not necessarily the end of the road here for these players, because 6 games, anything can happen. We've seen multiple people shine in the qualifiers.
Wow.
People come from behind, even like players like Saint, who didn't even engage very often. He had no eliminations, but managed 3 points during his qualifiers to make it to the grand finals today. It's still anybody's game. Going for the snipe midair. Are you kidding me?
And as you guys saw for a second as we pulled up the map, this is a loot lake ending. Kayun continues to fight these big names and continues to come out on top, as Poach just got sniped by Kayun to be eliminated in game 2.
That's Kayun's second elimination, which means 1 point soon for him if he manages the third.
Fails the build.
Drop down.
Uh-oh. He does have medkits. He can survive through the storm, but that's a quick tag down to 70. The battle coming on in. The pump does not connect. He's got to reset for the high ground. He knows it as he looks to build on up. Remote explosives!
Perfect placement in the middle. That Dremen walks right in it.
And you see the frustration there. Dremen, first elim on the board.
Now, currently there are 2 players with 3 eliminations, Top Boy and Takata, which means a single point apiece for them.
But
Kayun
actually,
has a point
as you mentioned,
prior.
Top Boy just got knocked out. So both players with 3 elims just dropped.
A plethora still with 2. We have 5 players currently alive with 2 eliminations there you see on your board. A lot of them relatively close to the zone, except for Rio, 400 meters away still. He's sitting pretty on HP and shield, but he's going to have to rotate relatively quickly. Might have been the most replaced structure I've seen at the factories there at Loot Lake. We took a look for a second, but Horrify stuck up top, taking a moment. Any seconds he has to pop any heals possible, they're going to go for it. He tried to place the bounce pad on the way down to prevent any fall damage. Didn't need to. Takes the bounce pad in that situation though. Tries to rotate away. Gets tagged midair as this 1v1 against X is kind of flirting with the edge of the zone. X is going to try and layer up so he can sneak in underneath Horrify, and Tempo is there as well.
And this is a beautiful spot for Tempo. Both these players pushing out of the zone. They've obviously been weakened quite a little bit. He drops Horrify down to just a couple shots left. X's and Tempo are both like, hey, I want this. No, this one's mine. As they continue to spray down, Horrify is just in a terrible spot. Tempo not really peeking too much from the other side. Can't drop down this structure as of yet. There it goes. No, it's still locked in.
It looks like it's attached to the 3rd point there. X is hoping to drop Horrify out in the open. Actually, during that, as Horrify was building up, X has had a moment there where he could have whipped a shotgun shot. And if Horrify was very low HP, it could have been an elimination already and put him at 2, but it looks like a hesitation caused him to not go for it. And he's going to have to back out of this, I think, 60 seconds. And looking at the potential zone movement here and the chance that there's a 3rd player, if he knew Tempo was there, saying that I need to move away now and secure the safe zone rather than go for this. And nobody that is currently alive is shining with 3 elims yet. There's a lot of players with opportunities. AG's is 51 players remaining and moving in past the lake. Very open play here, and he sees that the target in front of him is getting shot from within that brick structure. So kind of a sandwich situation here. He could be the 3rd player here and go for elimination on someone that may be caught off guard. Brandon is the player up top. He's got Unicorn in front of him. He's going to push up, maybe establish himself as basically a neighbor here, seeing we're at the very edge of the zone. You see on the map in the top right, he's going for a gatekeeping situation, watching for people rotating in, and that's why he's sitting up top. He's got the edit active on the triangle so he can look through the structure that is currently established there. Nobody can see him, but he can see everybody.
It's a pretty good spot to be in, especially in a battle royale. A look at Blue T, J Cuddy on the edge of the storm. They'll have to move on in. There are 49 players left, and this zone is getting very, very small. You'd expect the lobby to begin to drop quick, and here's the gatekeeping you mentioned. He's got the edit ready to basically be able to peek on up out of there like whack-a-mole at any moment.
Almost expect an edit and maybe go for a hunting rifle shot on that player that was rotating across the river. Horrify we saw earlier. I almost expect him to go down. This means he rotated out past Tempo, moving towards Loot Lake, trying to go for the safe zone. That's the key right now with 47 remaining.
And we haven't really talked about it a lot today, but you see these players, where they hit these trees, they drop them down to just 50 HP. For the viewers at home who might not realize, What is the thought process behind that if you're a pro player?
So if you finish a tree, the leaves kind of get kicked up in the air. There's an animation that plays that gives away position to these players that are extremely attentive to their surroundings constantly. So you see a tree go down, you know someone is harvesting that area. It's giving player location. That information can be incredible. That one an easy knockdown because it's built within the structure, so it's not gonna give away too much. Plus, any materials are important. The players will opt to not finish trees very often, just so that they can remain as hidden as possible. Kevy here, 0. Elam sitting inside, well inside the safe zone, watching outside this little window, using the camera angle to look around the corner, not exposing himself, and watching for player rotations, an opportunity to take shots at literally anybody. You see Jamok in the middle of that with popping a med kit, almost no HP remaining. Kevy in the feed, Vape Jesus getting an elimination on Turkey Lips, who we saw go absolutely crazy. Turkey Lips did have 3 Elans, though, before he went down. For everybody at home, that is a point secured, so we should feel great about that. And there's still 4 games left after this. He has many chances ahead of him. Blind in the feed getting elimination. Before we cut away to this very wide-angle shot, you can see this shot is so important. You can see how many players are starting to build up around Loot Lake, a very uncommon location for players to favor because it's so exposed. Courage fighting in the water it slows you down, and you have to have that extra floor layer. You see even where Kuroz is sitting here, there's nothing built underneath him. If you're on Loot Lake, you've got to use more materials to even build the same established location, and that can be tough, especially in late game situations where building is everything.
Jay Cuddy sprang with the SMG. Ecstatic was so weak, so that's a quick cleanup. Aiden just didn't stick the landing. That is Jay Cuddy's 3rd elim, which will put him with a point on the board. I believe that's 2 so far for him today. Blue T chasing this elim down. Look at how weak he is. He's got him down to just 1 shot. You'd expect Blue T to clean this up, but no, the launch pad to disengage. I think he's going to live to see another day.
I'm going to be surprised if he doesn't pick that double barrel up. There
Look
it
at
is.
the loadout.
There
My
it is.
gosh. 7
Blind
minis, a big
earlier.
shield, 3 legendary weapons, and just drops them on in. And well, when you got a drum gun from that close and you'd have no shields, you're dead. There's no other way to put it.
I like the comment. Blind, the tracking on his opponent there. Powder went for a jump over the top to try and pull like a jump 180, and Blind, the accuracy during tracking and players that are moving that fast, that close to you, very high sense players, just because the rate at which they have to build with Blind, so accurate.
This is Animal, who's just hoping he can get a mini off or 2. Hysteria's still live. He's already in the next zone as well. 1 elim to his name.
38 remaining. There's this wide-angle shot in the top right. You can see multiple players engaged already in the modern building over there. You have Hysteria kind of taking a look, gets the elimination on the Animal you see there in the feed.
And that's the right idea. He sees that fight, and he's saying, wait, that guy's probably weak. Let me try to spray this down in hopes he stopped for a second. That player, Bolt Naga, only had 25 HP. Yes, he's not able to finish the elim, but it's the right idea when you try to third-party one of these fights. This is the 3rd elim for Cuddy from earlier on that we did see. Just sprays down with that SMG to put another point on the board.
Just after that as well, moments ago in the feed, Blind securing his 3rd elimination of this game gives him 1 point. He's very close inside the zone, but this is what we've seen. We saw this last game. We're going to see it again. A high player count in a very tight space. The next circle is when things are going to move, so chaos will unleash in here. You're going to see a lot of players holding hands. Blind getting another elimination that puts him at 4. 1 more is a 2nd point. The stink bombs coming out. These are very common for rooting players out. Competitive players, they don't necessarily use it in an aggressive manner all the time, but it's kind of like a way to track targets. They'll chuck it at structures that maybe someone's hiding inside just to get a location, because you can see the 5 damage numbers pop out. And it's like being able to see through walls almost. But this is Aiden, someone we've watched. Oh, the fall damage in Loot Lake.
There's the live reaction again.
He's got a smile still on his face. He knows there's 4 games left. As we cut to this, I don't know if he saw that somebody's flying literally at the camera, and this is the beginning of the nest. You see players flying out now.
And one big thing I do want to point out: all of our kind of top performers from back in Game 1. They're really not high up here at all on our scoreboard that I'm seeing. So this kind of lead that people had from the first match,
oh my gosh,
might not follow through. How stacked is that side of the
west side of the circle is a nightmare. We have a couple players that are established away from that, which is fantastic.
Here's the shot of the one side of the zone. Can we try to get that identical shot to the other side of the zone just to see what it's like?
West side would be perfect. Base Soldier going down to Blind picking up his 5th elimination. That's 2 points for this game.
Blue T has 6 bounce pads. He can use these to maneuver so easily.
That means he's going to stay up top here. He doesn't have to start building to get away. He's already prepping for a move, moving ahead. There's 5 seconds left. He didn't even start when the zone started. He got ahead of it because he knows positioning early from last game showed to be very important, but other players are going to watch him right there. Getting shot from the side. Not a lot of damage. He still has a ton of shield left. 65 and 95 HP, so he's sitting pretty still. Could take even a heavy sniper rifle shot to the body, and he'll stay alive.
Oh, Jay Cuddy's got no healing. He's just hoping for a fifth of limb for another point. I think that's kind of what he's playing around right now. He's going to
throw some rockets in.
Look to push on in as well. Absolute one-shot blue tee. Still with around 160 HP. Looks like Lasius just took down Bolt Naga. You see Joystick getting eliminated in the engagement feed. 25 players left as we made it into the zone. The quick little look at the picture-in-picture in the top right of just how hectic this truly is.
25 players remaining. Even though he's at 65 shield, popping the full just to get as much as he can. Late game, especially in these hectic moves, these players, that's why we saw a chug jug earlier last game, I believe, from Aiden for only 50 shield. You're not going to have the time to use that during situations like this. Everyone is going to listen for that and push.
Is Blind the only one that is not on the bottom layer? He's in a brilliant position to lay down damage. He's got bounce pad. He's got a bounce pad to fall. He's got rockets still in his inventory. A legendary assault rifle.
Hysteria picking up his second Elam. One more gets him a point and takes it. Tempo is 50. Jesus out. Oh. Jay Cuddy, who was looking for his fifth Elam, gets rocketed.
He's just up in a tower. That's 2 in a row that he's done this with. C9 Blind now at 6 limbs. He could go on a tear to the end of this game, Lupo. No one is contesting him at all.
You're right. Look,
he's completely
nobody
safe.
else is as high as
and
he
it's
is
so
right now.
secured. That structure is so secured. He's going to have to move.
Still. The loadout is absolutely amazing. The shots gets at least one midair. Shield tag. Sees another player rotating. This is an opportunity for Blind to just take taps at everybody that's moving because somebody might be 1 or 2 shots, and he's accurate enough. He can secure the 7th Elam. That'd be 3 points this game alone. There's players right in front of him. I'm surprised he's not taking shots at blue tee during a rotation because he has layers. Even he could defend himself while moving. It looks like there's going to be a challenge. Drops himself down, takes a little bit of fall damage, but it's not enough to change his mindset about this engagement. He can still be aggressive. Gets a shot, the jump shot, the double barrel, so powerful.
And he's back to the high ground. He's not
players,
done yet, folks.
11 players remaining.
He's got more eyes on. The lobby dropping so quickly now. I believe we're down to our top 10 as this is already a 4-point game for Blind. We mentioned yesterday Tyler's had the incredible 6-point performance, the max you can earn from one game. Blind trying to do the same here. 8 now remaining. Sean was taken with a quick limb. Blind refreshes his assault rifle ammo. He was down to just 1 clip, and now he has 500.
It's not the only thing in his repertoire, too. The rocket launcher in the previous, what, 3-4 eliminations for him has been absolutely ridiculous. This amount of structure and how powerful.
No one can contest him up here.
It's crazy.
Oh, maybe a Porta-Fort can.
Spoke too soon. Looks like somebody with the Porta-Fort pushing up and taking an advantage. The Porta-Fort destroys all the structure that it should, that it will break through. And Blind.
Look at how fast that was. Another limb coming on in. Blind dropping all the way down. He's at 8. It's a 1v1. This is it. Can Blind win this game with a perfect score? Blind panicking. There it is. A 6-point game for Blind. As this man is now sitting pretty at the top of the standings.
I can't handle this courage. This is absolutely amazing. The plays, the plays. It's too much. We watched Blind earlier. Track targets.
Look at his shaking. Look at his hands shaking. Here it is again. The drop down. His drum gun wasn't loaded. His double barrel wasn't loaded. He had to spray with the scar. That's how caught off guard he was. His hands shaking. But guess what, my friend? You just did the impossible for what a lot of people would imagine. That is a full 6-point performance, immediately skyrocketing up the standings.
C9's got to feel real good about picking him up. I definitely would. What a set of plays. Yep. He had perfect positioning against everybody in Loot Lake as they rotated out. He had a top-down view the entire time. We had the Porta-Fort came out and kind of mixed things up, but he reacted appropriately as so many players went down so quickly. That last transition, it caught us off guard. Suddenly there were only 2 left. It was a 1v1 situation literally on top of each other, and Blind took advantage of it. 9 eliminations.
You remember back all the way at the Ninja Vegas event was the first time I've ever heard of this guy.
The first time I've seen him.
He wasn't even signed yet. I believe he won back-to-back solos. C9 then picked him up, and then now look at what he's doing for himself. Congratulations to Blind. incredible performance there. We've got replays for him, as you'd expect. Top elims in the game, top spot in the game, and not only again does he earn those points, the 6 points, he just won $25,000 for the victory royale.
Absolutely ridiculous. There's moments up here sitting at the top of the tower. You see in the mini-map, he's positioned extremely well multiple times during these rotations, has clear opportunities to drop rockets on players. That rocket launcher paying off huge. One of the most powerful tools, the jump shot. Blue T, you potentially blind hearing the reload going off, and so he goes for the edit and the quick jump shot, and down here, the very last elimination.
You see, he was trying to swap through.
He was.
Was it Chap?
It was.
It was Chap?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Two titans of Fortnite fighting it out basically up close.
And there's his teammate from C9 giving him the quick little high five. This venue is packed right now. People enjoying the free food over at the Der Burger. All I know is the beauty of this, we are playing 6 games today, not just 4. So instead of being halfway done with the action, we're only a third of the way done. I think we have to go to this right now, though. An interview with C9 Blind, 6 total points, a monster performance, and he's now $25,000 richer.
Guys, what an incredible game. I'm down here screaming my head off. I'm here with Blind. Blind, my man, you just slayed out 9 eliminations in the victory royale. How are you feeling, dude?
I can't believe this, dude. This is amazing. Wow. Wow.
I mean, how does it feel? So not only did you get 9 eliminations, you get the 3 points from that, the victory royale was just 3 points, and 25 grand. I mean, what's going through your mind right now, dude?
Nothing. I can't even, I'm speechless, dude. I can't believe this at all. Like, at one point, like, I don't know, just my instincts just kicked in and I just did what I did. That's pretty much it.
Dude, you were full bore there, gas pedal. I mean, what's the strategy going to be like going into the next few games?
I mean, I think I'm going to play probably the same, just pretty passive toward the beginning of the game and then just go aggressive because, you know, the beginning is kind of sketchy.
Yeah. Do you want to say anything to your fans? I mean, PAX was here in an uproar. Do you want to say anything to them and everyone at home who's watching?
Just thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Congrats. Best of luck in the next few games, Blind. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break, but stay tuned. We've got more action heading your way. Oh my God, Blind, let's go!
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a packed house. We are at capacity as people are lined up down the street live for the biggest spectacle of PAX West, the grand finals of the Fortnite Summer Skirmish. This has been 8 weeks of competition leading up to this point. $8 million up for grabs. Today, $1.5 million alone. And it has not disappointed at all so far, Lupo. We've actually got to look at the standings right now. I'm assuming Blind is sitting pretty at the top. No? Oh, okay, wait. He should probably be sitting pretty at the top. We'll get that fixed for everybody at home. As Jay Cuddy, though, still in a good spot. 6 elims and 5 total points.
Landjock, our winner from the first game. Yeah, we'll get those resolved quickly. But like you were saying, Courage, regardless of how many people are in this parking lot right now, how packed it is here. If you're in Seattle, if you're at PAX West, and you're not down here, you are seriously missing out. We have 4 games left, $1.5 million on the line, and every Victory Royale is worth $25,000 for the player that comes away with the win. That's crazy.
Landjock, $25,000 richer after game 1 with the Victory Royale. Obviously, C9 Blind, $25,000 richer after game 2 with the Victory Royale. Moving forward, we're seeing just how stacked these lobbies are towards the end, how many players are in them. We do have the fixed standings here that we'll go ahead and pull on up as well.
There we
Blind.
go.
Okay, that makes sense.
9
so Jay
eliminations.
At 8 elims and 3 points. Okay, so changes things a little bit, but he is far and away at that top spot, Lupo.
That's absolutely amazing. Literally double second place. Landjock sitting so far behind. I say so far behind. 3 points is absolutely ridiculous. But sitting at 3 points compared to Blind 6, because in game 1, Landjock played very slow, very passive, very methodical, because he didn't want to go for engagements. He was going for leaderboard placement, and you can see Blind saying, okay, I can play aggressive. I can get elims and placement, and it pays off 6 points in a single game. That's the second time, only second time we've seen it thus far.
And remember, 21st through 100th all earn $5,000. It's that top 20 that you can really earn the extra little bit of money. Now, we wound up going and looking at the pricing. Think Blind with the Victory Royale earns himself $25,000. But now that he's leaped into that first spot, doubling the points of even second, when you look at the prize graphic, you're thinking, wait, this man not only with one pop-off game won 25 grand, but could have scored himself at the end of the day another $250,000 almost from that one game.
Yeah. Yeah, it all depends on how the following 4 games go.
Yep.
And I guarantee you, like we've seen over the course of the last 3 days, Jack, you're going to see players change the way that they play. They're going to make adjustments. We've already seen a number of players decide based on what they saw from players like Aiden, Tyler's, Animal, who came away with a 10 elimination game as well. They're going to say, if they can play aggressive and get those kind of numbers, so can I. We've got fast edits, crazy accurate shots, and we have a bus loading up, Jack. It's almost time for game 3.
5 seconds. Here we go. We just saw a legendary Fortnite performance from C9 Blind. Who will do it now in game number 3? It is time. The battle bus has launched. Game number 3 is underway. Who will join Landjock and Blind and become $25,000 richer with a Victory Royale here?
These early engagements, I guarantee you, we're going to see what, round 4, 5, 6, whatever it is, of Aiden versus Nick Merckx and Tilted Towers. I almost wonder if one of them decides they don't want to face the other again. Maybe Nick Merckx. He's lost both thus far. And I'm going to guarantee you, though, the crowd here wants to see it again. I'd bet you anything in the world. Now, you have in the bottom right there our winner from last round, Cloud9's Blind, an excellent player. Very, very good awareness and ability to track opponents, and we're going to see where he drops versus everybody else flying through that little zone there. The low grab zones, man, those change things up. I feel like you kind of put yourself in an exposed position, but we're going to have a very early 1v1. Blind, somebody lands up top. Wow, the blue SMG, an excellent early game weapon, and the shots coming out, taking it. Blind doesn't have the ability to build those, so he's got to rely on accuracy alone. He's got to go for a reload, and it seems like he lost track. It doesn't matter. Gets the shots and the fast reload.
Ooh. You see, he shakes his head like, that was not a fight I wanted to have. Nate Hill is just on the other side of the hill with a little tack shotgun and shield combo. So
look at the loadout.
Yeah, unless he's able to heal up real quick, Blind, I think it's going to be in a tough spot, as Nate Hill might just push this right away.
Could go for a hunting rifle shot up. Makes me wonder, Blind must not have realized that Nate was over there. There it is. Go for the hunting rifle. Oh, he doesn't get it. Very close shot, but Nate Hill comes away with that. I think he...
That's what we're talking about, right? He's so low. Nate Hill realizes that I just got a big shield. I'm at 150 health. I could just push this right away.
You know, we heard the engagement earlier, too,
sure.
so there's no reason to not go in on that. Cryo, our coin toss winner from yesterday, can get shots off here at Gray AR. Quite a bit of materials for an early game. He's sitting on 13, 12 builds now as he's trying to wall off and rotate away. Looks like he's trying to get a different position. You don't want to repeat the same spot twice. You don't necessarily know if your player, unless you saw them rotate through their weapons, especially somebody like Sap. This is not the first time they've fought each other here. Farico taking a shot, that hunting rifle. Literally, as I was going to say, you don't want to repeat the same spot twice because players might have a hunting rifle. Yeah. Or look at Sap. He's got a semi-auto sniper. They can take a very quick shot if they know you're going to come up in the same spot. A crit could mean the difference between 89th right now and making it on maybe to the next circle.
This is Sap's fight. I mean, you have to think top down shotgun, an LMG. He had the top down for the moment.
Low build count though, only 5 layers you can put up, and players use those very quickly in 1v1s like this. He's peeking through. You look at him, look through the angle on the top. Trying to track his opponent. The trap play potentially goes for it. His opponent backing out inside. There we go. Using those materials as layers. It's like an extra defense. It's almost like a shield. He's going to
rotate back. Shield tag with those nades. Turns around. There's the quick shot on the Farico.
Good awareness from Saf, knowing his opponent is underneath 100.
No. He got it. I think it was a headshot. I don't know if he got the elim. We're checking out Aiden right now. We'll update you guys there on that last fight. Aiden now in Tilted getting pushed. Not sure who he's battling right now.
Landjack on the feet, our winner from game 1, gets elimination as well.
That was against Fly Crunch.
Crunch, who has been landing here consistently as well. It's time for a little top down. He's going to go for the shot. Whoa, lasers Crunch on the rotation out and gets his first elimination here in Tilted, but he's not done yet. You know there's more players inside.
So I believe Saf hit the headshot, but it wasn't enough to get the elim. That player was so healthy. Remember the semi-auto sniper. The only of the snipers that doesn't instantly drop the opponent. Yeah, Cryo got dropped HP. To like 10 health.
He hit that shot. Now he's got to rotate away.
He's looking. He's hunting.
Saf is hunting him down. At this point, probably realizes based on the last few games that he might own this area now, so he can take his time if he's not going to get too aggressive push. Nick Merckx, is this a Nick Merckx versus Aiden in this stairwell yet again?
I don't know. Aiden, the last we saw was at Tacos. Nick, 200 HP, gets tagged. 38 right there. Wondering if he'll pop this slurp. The way that the ramps are being used right now, I'm assuming it is Aiden because Aiden uses them in the same way as kind of a layered defense that quickly edits them.
It's not Aiden this time. Who's been landing here consistently as well. Ilchase, actually, I think this is the first time he's come to Tilted. He landed, I believe, Greasy or Salty last game.
Yeah. There's 4 players nearby right here. Aiden's in new building. There's 2 right next to Nick. Oh, that grenade blows up the cover. Nick hears the big tags. We won't push it as of yet. You look at the elim feed, Poach with an elimination. Nick, the quick shots. There's 1 elim for Nick, still at full HP as the crowd gets behind him. Absolutely a fan favorite here in the Fortnite Summer Skirmish. As the Nick Merckx chant begins, Aiden and Nick Merckx are again in the same building. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for round 3. The first 2 games, Aiden eliminated Nick Merckx. Can Nick get vengeance here as Aiden's actually going to fall back?
This is Animal, one of our top performers, I believe, from day 2. He dropped a 10 bomb in a single game.
Sneaking on up, hunting his prey. Says, I'm the animal here today, my friend. As he cuts him down, a quick burst.
Back to Tilted, Nick Merckx.
I mean, how do we not watch this?
You have to.
Yeah, you have to. This is fantastic.
Like, Static is still the 3rd player in this engagement, and I believe they all know that they're in there. They're watching. They're looking to see who's going to make a move first, maybe catch somebody rotating or not watching out a window. Tilted is very, very, you're exposed. There are so many angles because all the different windows and the positions, you can see through them. That's why we've seen Aiden peeking through windows with those builds on the outside, just trying to take shots and use the pillars in the middle as like a separator. It's natural cover. Morgoss. C4 from a 3rd opponent there, gets the shots from above, almost gets the elimination, gets one. Ooh. As Flower from Rogue goes down, Morgoss pushing down, trying to get the double. He sees this player rotating around the outside. He had just been dealing HP damage. There it is. Takata goes down as well, gets 2 eliminations. 1 more means a point. Back in Tilted, Courage. These guys, they're gonna go after each other here. They have to. There's no way. There we go.
There it is again. I mean, this is what it's all about, folks. Nick versus Aiden. Aiden 2, Nick 0 so far in the fights. I know Nick has family here watching, a lot of people this weekend wanting to see how he can perform. This is probably, Nick has had such a long competitive history in esports. This is probably the biggest tournament he's ever been in, and here it is, the battle again. We've seen this before. Here it goes, round number 3. Aiden peeking the corner. It's Nick building the ramps. Aiden getting the wall in front, just to trying to make sure he's covered and can have some quick edits on out. There's another close ramp. Expect a quick rotation on it. He's going to
the footsteps. He knows Nick rotated up top.
Yeah. Nick's got the high ground now, and I think he'll kind of reset to the top of this new building. There is still Ecstatic just standing still in the big gray building.
If you don't move, they can't hear you, Jack.
Both these players so healthy in this fight. The last time we saw Aiden versus Nick, it was Nick with only 100 HP. I believe there's a slight health advantage for Aiden at the moment. Probably about 10 HP difference. 14 HP, I think, is exact. But Nick is back in big gray where there is still Ecstatic hiding behind one of these doors.
You notice he hasn't even moved. He's barely turning and not even really weapon swapping. I think Ecstatic at this point knows that both Nick and Aiden are here. He's waiting for this fight to play out. And Nick, you see, he's looking around the corner. He's watching and saw the rotation. He's going to try and get a top-down surprise here. Maybe drop in the shotgun coming out. Shotgun and then swap to the dualies. You can hear him moving around underneath. The audio tracking these players. It's just...
Ecstatic is close by Nick right now. He's like right behind one of these walls. Back over to Poach, though. We've got to show some love to the other players, too. Poach trying to build on up. So a little bit of a fight. One player just below him right now. Mighty bank, I love this, banking the frag grenades off the wall. They'll fall right at the bottom of the structure, and here comes the build battle. Poach trying to keep up, actually gets pyramided by the opponent over his own build, and Povsey cuts down Landjock. That's Povsey's third elim of this game.
Spray from that the blue drum gun, one of the most favored weapons we've seen in scrimmage, competitive games.
Poach wants
very
this
low.
fight.
Poach has got to push.
Poach wants this
He
fight.
knows.
He's hunting right now. Poach for his second elim of the game. Can he break through this structure? Povsey just trying to heal with this campfire. Poach wants this player dead. Can he get the high ground? The pyramid blocked for the moment.
He heard that sound of his opponent hitting the dirt down there. He knows he dropped all the way down. He's going to take advantage of that and drop in. He's going for the replace every single time, but Povsey's blocking it repeatedly. He's trying to put down the pyramids, the ceilings, anything to stop Poach from getting in and taking advantage of the low HP. And what that does is Poach still knows he has an opportunity to be aggressive. He knows Povsey must be missing a lot there. And the rotation out, it looks like.
Povsey just ran on out. Wait, this was Nick Merckx. Low on HP, in a little bit of a fight. How does it end here?
Ecstatic
eliminating Nick. And you see, oh my God, the frustration there. We were saying Ecstatic was hiding in that build for so long. Nick Merckx with an early exit yet again.
It looks like the player that Poach took shots at that was to his southeast might have been a third player in there. He catches the edit there, takes ownership of the ceiling and gets Povsey as he's trying to back out.
Very patient from Povsey. You got to, sorry, from Poach there. Never went into Povsey's build. He knew he had time, and he still has the launch pad to get away.
Like you said, Povsey did have 3 eliminations. That's a single point for him. Nice actually right now has 3 limbs. Morgoss has 3 limbs, and Blue T has 3. That's a single point for each of them. Feel really good about that. Looking forward to the rest of the day. A number of players still alive. Saf, Poach, and Ecstatic all sitting on 2.
Jack might just died in the zone. No. There's Ranger, the quick elim.
Securing that elimination. We actually watched Ranger in his qualifiers do quite a bit of solid gatekeeping of the river.
Yep.
It's good to see him get an engagement.
He's got to get out of there, though.
And still win as well.
And it begins. The little structures, the little huts, the 1x1s. It has started. Minigun, though, being sprayed into Kayun, who's dropped all the way down to the side of this mountain. Dremen is close by as well. Who's that spraying? Babe Jesus, I believe, from Tempo Storm. Oh, nope. Rip to go. He's out of there. He wants to follow this up right away.
He's going for it. Drops in. Not a whole lot of HP, but he's playing very aggressively. I think the thought is that minigun would have torn through his opponent's materials, thinking he can't layer up against me anymore. So, a heavy shotgun right into the drum gun, that back and forth combo, and players like Vape Jesus are going to be really good at timing their shots on that. He can get the elimination if he pushes. He can catch this player unable to build. Replays, Bizzle, Wheats, J. Cuddy all It's hanging out north side of Fatal Fields, very populated. A lot of those angled stairs. Yeah, we've seen that before. When you see players do that, Jack, what are they doing with that?
Well, basically, the way you're running, so you don't have to lose your momentum with your sprint. You angle the stairs to basically block the area that the shots are coming in from. You use it as cover. You're not having to awkwardly jump back and forth and swap and spin around. It's just kind of a clean way to build right across. It uses kind of the least amount of materials too. Aiden's still in this, going to bounce pad and try to follow up his opponent. That's Ecstatic, who actually eliminated Nick Merckx. I think Aiden say, hey, that's my job so far today. I want vengeance now, my friend, as he'll fall on down and reset the fight.
Klinger's potentially pushing him out there. He's looking for a better opportunity and any materials. He's very low right now for this time in the game. 1:30 remaining before the next circle. He's going to go for his jump shot here, but his opponent Ecstatic walling off against him, just preemptively defending himself, knowing Aiden is very accurate at close, trying to get an angle. That little peek, look at the little hole he's trying to take shots through. Aiden might have to layer up the other side right now, but he's not going to. He's going to go for the shot and then block it off. Any sort of like, just take that single second, that millisecond almost, and get the shot. So you see Ecstatic, he knows the hole's still there, knows Aiden's still underneath. Just kind of pacing his engagement. Just the right timing is going to be key here. Here it comes. Aiden low materials pushing in the shot on Ecstatic, and Aiden gets the elimination.
And that would have been for 3 limbs if Ecstatic could have gotten it. Aiden's still so healthy in this fight. One player just above. The quick edit out. Looks like Aiden's lost the high ground for now. Jukes out that he's going to break down the structure. The opponent drops Aiden with the elim. That's 3. That is 3. And what's this? A chug jug.
Looks like at that point, Aiden started to build to defend. There might be another player pushing in. FPS from CLG takes Tendons out just south of Salty Springs. Yes, we saw this a moment ago. Yeah, apparently it secured his second elimination, 1 away from a single point, and he is sitting on quite a few spray weapons today. It's an LMG, which you don't see too often, but players up close, that thing tears him up. He's got Blue T above him, who may not realize, but look at Blue T's materials. Over 2,000. He has so many builds. He's got a blue drum gun.
Decent.
Decent, to say the least. He's got the ability to rotate away now because he can just layer up as he backs up. He does have the rocket launcher. Explodes right now. Maybe not. I guess it's time to use them. Usually you see those saved for late games. They're very good at dropping structures, especially when the players are playing slow. Is he going for the trap?
Oh, just lost the high ground at a moment's notice, and yeah, he immediately loses it, falls right back down. Not sure exactly who he's battling right here, down to just 39 HP, though, how quickly it all ends, and now he's in the low gravity zone.
I believe that's Blue T's in a 1v1 against right now. Blue T's going around with the rotation. South side of the tree, using the tree as cover, misses the shot. He's got to defend right now, 6 HP.
I think he knows the end is near. Blue T hunting his opponent. He might just die to the zone.
He's got bandages, and it's not ticket for enough necessarily to beat it. If he popped the bandage early, you see it, yeah, FPS going for that bandage. Every little bit counts. Blue T saying, I'm waiting. I haven't seen you in the feed to the storm yet. The third player is somebody watching from a distance, taking shots. Nice gets Amon's in the feed. 20-meter snipe shot, very close range snipe shot. Blue T 3 eliminations, 39 players remaining, 20 seconds till the zone finishes. And it's going to be time to mix it up a little bit more. Goss right now sitting on 4 eliminations, Nice with 4 eliminations, Blue T at 3, Aiden at 3, Saf at 3. All 5 of those players still alive, and points for each of them.
The FPS just lost to the storm, so there it goes. Blue T not able to get that elim. Is already at 3 though, so can't be too upset. Here's a look at your full scoreboard. A lot of players at the top still in this. As we say it, actually Nice gets dropped. You see live right there. But Aiden still at 3. His teammate is Saf still alive. Poach is at 2. Nate Hill is at 2. Some big names at the top of these scoreboards right now.
Now, hopefully before too long, there's a number of players we haven't had our eyes on too much. Just the feed has been quiet with them. Players like Tifu, who I was literally about to say his name, and lo and behold, here we are. You got a top down on Kayun. Now, if he's been watching the feed from previous games, he's seen Kayun has eliminated a number of high caliber players with ease almost. Poach, Chap, a lot of big names.
Replays as well.
Replays, yeah, exactly. I would be concerned if you know you run into him.
Quick little spray from Morgoth there. So many materials. And 4 limbs, 3 medkits. Morgoss has everything you could ever ask for. You see, just on your screen alone, Bizzle, 72 hours, Chap. Here's replays at maxed HP. Here's an update on Aiden, where he stood up to this point. Oh my gosh.
Heavy shot from Snood there, taking advantage of the swap to the SMG to spray Aiden down. Still comes away with 3 eliminations, though. That's 3 points total on the day, so he's well ahead of many other players. And he does have half the games left today, Courage.
Absolutely.
Morgoss looking for his 5th to secure a 2nd point. Would put him at 4 total for the day. 2 behind our current leader, C9 Blind, who was eliminated very early this game. Don't forget, 94th place with a single elimination. Cryo and Nate Hill taking shots at each other. Nate knows he's got him on the outside. Just did damage, knows there's no shield left. That's why Nate's pushing. And the Port might actually catch Cryo off guard. He's looking for a rotation here. Gets the shot, and Cryo goes down.
And those are the shots you just have to hit. He's got an opportunity to snap with that heavy shotgun.
The prize of a golden double barrel.
Oh, he gets everything. He gets the drum gun, the gold double barrel, legendary double barrel. Here's Cryo again against Nice. There's the cleanup there. That was his first elim of the game. Here's Tfue and Nate Hill, teammates on FaZe Clan. Might be a fight coming here soon between the two of them.
Wait and see here. He's got a hunting rifle, double barrel. This is actually a pretty common setup for a player like him. I would almost drop the hunting, and if he got a scope AR, we've seen it in his hands so many times in previous summer skirmishes. You can hear the fight underneath him, the shield. He knows the player just got eliminated. It might be time to go for a push here.
Yep. Tfue just trying to spot. He's got multiple frag grenades to use. Banking them, unfortunately for him, does drop down on top of that structure, which, that was definitely not his plan. Now it's time to begin to launch. He's in, oh my gosh, down to just 19 HP, and again, he'll have to fall on back.
Getting caught tunnel visioning with those grenades, not really moving too much. We've even mentioned other players kind of wiggling back and forth. Even if you're doing something like dropping frag grenades down below, you're going to get punished when players are watching every single structure. Knowing somebody's up there, they're going to take shots at every opportunity they can. And Tfue was kind of caught off guard. Like I said, tunnel visioning, not necessarily your best friend in a situation like this.
You have to think the end must be near. Whoa!
A look of disappointment.
Doing his best impression of Tim the Tat Man there as he falls to a swift death. Way the road.
A very wide angle shot here. You have a ton of players hanging out at very close quarters. This is going to be a theme for today. People are going for placement, knowing full well that if you get the top 10, that is even just a single point that can mean the difference between 21st through 100th for 5K and pushing into the larger prize pools. Plus, knowing the Victory Royale is $25,000. That buffer is insane. Saf with 5 elans, already 2 points. And the Rockets are going to come in and kind of chase him out of the structure he's built up, but he's going to layer back up. You see even putting floors and ramps down to reinforce anything he's sitting in. That heavy sniper, I'd love to see just an edit, like a window edit, a quick peek and a body shot on somebody for an elan from Saf here. He's got the accuracy to do it. The zone's starting to push the remaining players in. Saf, the only one with 5 eliminations right now in this game. Snood sitting on 3 in a very close combat fight. He's taking, like we've seen this a bunch of times, every opportunity for these players, every second.
He has 18 explodes to use right now. 95 health in total, just staying alive, waiting on out.
Now might be the time to use those. Go for any knockdown you can get right now. Especially the higher up structures, stuff that might be connected to only 1 or 2 things outside of the storm.
Oh,
look at the window shot.
Right into the window. Will it inflict any damage? No, I think there was a quick edit by the player inside that 1x1. Saf, 5 elims, top 25 right now. He has the heavy sniper as well. Here's a look from the top down. Sam all the way up top. Saf using another bounce pad to try to move towards this next zone. This time he gets clipped. Looking at our scoreboard right now on our screen, Morgoss still alive with only 4 limbs. What I mean by 4 is he hasn't moved up to that top 5 quite yet. Nate Hill at 3, Poach still at 2, and Geomock just got his first elim on the blue tee.
Here we go. The storm's starting to move. We got 23 seconds until it finishes, and now's the time. Everybody, you can see even through these materials get placed down as they're building. They're kind of see-through still, and you can see just silhouettes of players moving every direction. Tempo even down low, going for a bounce pad just to push as fast as he can away from an engagement that he knows he's not going to win. He does have the porta fort. Look at the layer of players to the left side, middle left side of your screen. There's so many in one spot. You know these guys are going to run into each other in some way. It depends on who gets the shot off first. There's so much movement, and traps right now, Courage, are going to be incredible. You heard one place down, because you can catch players rotating through structure. You don't even know. Chap.
Chap.
Headed down, drops down, put layers above himself.
Is that Chap on the other side of this wall?
You see more silhouettes. He's got the porta fort out, maybe thinking about putting it down to try and get a drop on somebody above, knock everything down. Going to take ownership of this.
Look at the zone. Everyone hugging that close side, getting ready to move. 10 seconds away. Remember, top 20 earn a point. And you're not happy with something you just saw. What was it?
The ridiculousness of this position it's terrifying to think. Half of the players are going to go down, most likely during this rotation. And here we go. People flying through the air. Nate Hill getting laser, landing outside the zone, ticking, and that's going to be all she wrote for Nate. Too far into the storm, and takes literally all it took was 2 ticks.
Yep.
All it took was 2 ticks.
Rip to go. Someone going to the high ground. I think Rex just got eliminated by a trap. You see Chap still with under 20 HP. Tempo with 2 limbs. This could be the difference between 2 points and 0 right now. If he can make it to the top 10 or find the next elimination. Sam has not left this high ground at all. Only 1 rocket to his name. He's got to use this wisely. 13 players still left. Who will secure the victory royale and $25,000? Tempo's got nothing left right now. He's just hoping, Lupo, that he can make it into the top 10. A switch on over now to Ghost Fizzle. He's got 1 limb, but a ton of healing in his inventory. 10 minis and a slurp, and still a lot of materials left.
In the feed, you saw Poach get his 4th elimination. This is a player that thrives in these very close combat 100%. Engagements. He knows his way around these little buildings. You see all the way down to the bottom. This is a position we've seen him in a ton of times. Gets tapped a little bit in there, but he has an opportunity to capitalize on this. Morgoth secures his 5th elimination. That's 2 points. Chad making a move, super low HP, and goes down on the move right there. That rotation is going to be tough. Everybody's moving simultaneously. 5 players left, Courage.
72 hours, eliminates base soldier. Geomach dies to the storm. Poach is out of materials. He can no longer build. He's hoping people have to drop on down. Morgoth now at 6 limbs, 1 away from earning the 7th, which would be another point for him. You see he's on a low level near Poach. Poach will wind up trapping all these levels as people try to drop down towards him. 10 seconds until the zone begins to close. He's got bandages to work with, but it's going to come down to a heal up, I believe, ladies and gentlemen. Who will make it out on top? Poach trying to take matters into his own hands. The storm slowly closing. 19 seconds, 18 seconds, 17 seconds. The fight's just a layer above Poach. He cannot even build up. That's 72 hours. His teammate getting dropped. Morgoth trades the limb. That's his 7th. Morgoth has a med kit. Sam has nothing to heal with. They've made it to the top 3. Morgoth has a chance to have a 6-point game himself to match that of Blind. Who will out-heal the most? Morgoth with another med kit. Sam dropping on down, trying to spray. Morgoth in the 1v1. Will he get the perfect game? He does. Morgoth with the victory. And look at the hype. 7 limbs and the victory royale. Back-to-back 6-point games. Blind, then Morgoth. And is he phasing up? All right, fine. I guess he's like, Banks, send over the contract.
We see you. He's waiting.
Send over the contract, please.
Like you said, back-to-back 6-point games. And we only had 1 during the entirety of the heats of the qualifiers.
Does the back of his sweatshirt say 1v1me playground? That is incredible.
It's a DM I get from you quite often, Kurt.
It is. But either way, congratulations to Morgoth. $25,000 richer. A 6-point game. And I think that moves him up to the top spot today as well.
Based on the previous 2 games, if I recall, he had 2 points. That makes a total of 8 for him over the course of 3 games. And we're only halfway done.
We are only halfway done.
But he's in an incredible spot. $25,000 richer as well. That's got to feel good.
Most certainly, I can promise you that. The man just moved right up the scoreboard. What a performance from everybody there. Poach tries to get it done towards the end. You see, can't out-heal that zone. Not as good as a med kit, but we've got some replays to look at first, starting with none other than Ghost Aiden. I think he secured himself another point that game with 3 limbs. This was the quick beam of the drum gun. 52 bullet, or sorry, 52 headshot damage with that crit. Back to back, just shreds his opponent. This was that second elim onto Ecstatic. That's the player who actually eliminated Nick Merckx in the game. And then here, swaps around. Nibs falls to his death as well.
One of the best controller players. I mean, there's no argument here. Aiden has established himself. Extremely dominant and tilted.
Yep.
But that's not the only indication. We saw multiple engagements there at the bridge to the far south along the river, and he's able to hit his shots. Very fast edits. One of the best players we've seen thus far, and he continues to show that whether he makes it towards the top 10 or not, he's racking up eliminations and very, very aggressive top-down gameplay.
Oh, for sure. And that's what it's all about. We also have a little highlight from Nate Hill. His game ended in quite an awkward way as he went to go bounce pad, but if you remember, he was actually the one to cut down C9 Blind at Fatal Fields right off the break of the game. And then this was the shot with the heavy shotgun. Look at this as he snaps onto his opponent. Actually, oh, we just missed it, but either way, he snapped, but then that's the bounce pad. It took him much further than I think he was hoping, and as he was going, he gets sprayed down, and the frustration there. Yeah, and the eye roll and everything.
The only option, I think, in a situation like that, you saw the trajectory he was taking. He could have put a wall up on his left and attached it to what was there, and then immediately turn and put one in front of himself to stop. But it's so fast. You're moving so quickly through the air, and the trajectory, like you said, when the zone's moving, you've got players shooting at you from every direction. This is hindsight. I mean, in the situation,
for sure,
he tried to do everything that he could.
You know, coming into this weekend, two of the most winningest players of the summer skirmish up to this point, Vivid and Liquid Poach, were the two that I had my eyes on. Poach actually this game puts up some heavy limbs to earn himself a point. Did he get 5? He might have gotten 2 points.
Very fast edits.
There's a lot going on.
That ramp block versus opponents that are pushing up Giant right there, and then immediately editing. It's almost as if some of the reaction speeds, he knows that his opponent is going to react to being blocked off and turn away very quickly. And so he edits almost instantly after placing the ramp and takes a shot as soon as he can.
And this was him hoping to out-heal. This is where you just kind of cross your fingers. You see everyone in the background watching his perspective. Look at all those faces.
A tactic we've seen from some players too. These heal offs at the end might seem like you're just spam clicking to see what you can get off in time, but the fact that he had 75 HP right there means he had to wait until he took a tick of storm damage to pop the first bandage. He could have healed just a little bit ahead of time if he had anything less than 75, and that could have made all the difference in the world.
Unfortunately for him, his game did end there. You saw, look at the crowd, very comfortable here in the beanbags in the Fortnite tent booth, whatever you call it. Either way, though, Morgoss, our new overall leader, I can confirm right now, just secured the Victory Royale, the full 6-point performance, $25,000 richer. He's on the floor with Zeke.
He's trying to get the 4-1-1 on the new grappler item. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with Morgoss. Come on over, dude. I'm getting word you are now the overall leader. So not only do you get all the eliminations, you get the 6 points, the victory out, 25K, and the overall leader. Dude, how are you feeling?
I'm shaking right now, honestly. I can't believe it. I mean, I've been practicing for 5-6 months now, and it's just a crazy feeling to finally pay off, you know?
I mean, so what was practice like leading up to this? Was it just, you know, how many hours a day? What were you doing? Were you running scrims?
Yeah, it's the professional scrims. It's probably around 10 to 12, maybe even 14 hours a day. But I think the biggest thing, the hardest part for me was sacrificing time with my family to practice and be the best.
I mean, but obviously this paid off, right? Sure, you sacrificed time, but then you show the world, guys, I'm more ghosts. Hello, 25K here at finals. I mean, how do you think your family's feeling after watching you do this?
They're crazy. They're crazy for it, I know. I wouldn't be here without them, for sure. They sent me out, they flew me. They've been supporting me for a few years now. It's a great feeling to finally make them proud, you know?
Now, what do you got to say to all the new fans that you've just made around the world, dude?
Days up.
Best of luck, Morgoss. We'll see you in the upcoming games. Courage, Lupo.
They got it. They got it figured out.